life is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. Well, in a world where challenges are plentiful, it's easy for us to feel discouraged. Yet with enough guidance and support, most people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. Well, beyond your fears is everything you ever dreamed of. For the Dr. STEM Show, we'll give the voiceless a voice and the hopeless hope. And now, here she is, Dr. STEM.
Hello, real quick, before we get into the show, I wanted to invite you to a free 7-day manifesting challenge. Here's the thing. I believe that we all are capable and able to achieve our dreams and desires at any time. But we have to know how to be receptive, how to manifest and receive that which we are asking for. So for 7 days, I'll be sending you an audio or video for you to watch and then do the things that I say in that video. And then after 7 days, I can't wait. I'm so excited to hear what comes up for you, what you'll be able to achieve. So visit our website, www.drstemmy.com and www.drstemspeaks.com. Now, let's get into the show. Hello and welcome again to the Dr. STEM Show. I am so excited. As I said, I'm on a series where I'm interviewing all our phenomenal guest speakers for the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference 2022, which is our third annual. So with me is Natasha, I think it's Ickes-Saman. Did I get that right?
So close. Natasha Ickes-Saman. I am so excited to be here. It is such an honor to be a part of this show with so many phenomenal, wonderful change makers, thought leaders, and beautiful women in their own industries.
Amen. So here's the thing, right? Let me tell you something. We actually started the show and then talked before we started, turning on all the record. You think I would have asked to say, how do you say your name?
You know what? Everybody's been getting it wrong my entire life. I am never offended. I am not tripping. You are good.
So it's Ickes, how do you?
Ickes, yes. Ickes-Saman.
Ickes-Saman, Natasha Ickes-Saman. So don't do like I do. If you have guests on your shows, ask them first. But I love doing
People
this.
ask me and they still get it wrong. Again, it's a tongue twister. I'm not offended at all.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, audience, let me tell you a little bit about this beautiful, phenomenal lady. One, we met at the Listen Nichols, our conference this year in California, and she's a resident of California. I loved her energy when we were registering, and we have this Facebook group. I went through the speakers and I specifically picked the people that resonated with my energy, that I knew that you guys and everybody who attends the Bounce Back or watch our recordings way after that, you will get something from her. Natasha Ickes-Saman is the owner of Shear, Passion, Salon, and founder of, I love this, Manifesting Miracles LLC. She's a 2-time best-selling and award-winning author and TEDx speaker. I'm working on being my first-time TEDx. She's done it already. She has been featured in multiple publications, from MunaLuchi Bridal to the LA Tribune and Hudson Weekly. She was the 2019 recipient of a certificate of recognition from the California Senate, you all. Natasha's path took her from a troubled childhood, addiction, and 2 attempts to take her own life to finding her strength, breaking through insurmountable obstacles and becoming the person she always wanted to be, a successful salon owner, mother, and loving wife. Outside of the salon and coaching, she regularly provides free haircuts to the homeless shelters throughout the Bay Area. Her passion is to empower others and make the world a better place for everyone. Girl, welcome again to the show.
Thank you. And I do want to give one clarification. So the TEDx I've done, so I am an award-winning author. I am a best-selling author, 2 times for that. However, for the TEDx, I have done one. Girlfriend, when I tell you, it is so much work. I am currently in the process of applying and hopefully being a part of a second one, but I've done one so far.
Wow. I have been tethering, wanting to do it for years, but I know now without a shadow of a doubt, I'm ready, and I want to experience it, because then it's getting through the trainings, coming up with the speech and the points that you want. And with that hard work and everything, I'm telling you, this is the reason why as women, we empower each other, encourage each other. So now I'm reading her bio and I'm thinking, okay, if Natasha couldn't do it with everything that she has on her plate and everything, why can't I also just force myself and try to do it and do it too, right? Because so you inspired
definitely
me.
do it. Oh, thank you. You have inspired me so much as well. And I think that's a huge part of it, right? Is that we all inspire each other. So when I started in the hair industry, right, I was, of course, we graduated through school, went into the first salon, and I was an assistant. And me being an assistant wasn't just like shampooing and blow drying. I literally remember it would be raining and I would take change and fill up people's meters and go get them coffee and go get them food. And it's a humbling experience, right? But it's part of working your way up, willing to start from the bottom and slowly make your way to the top. And I remember what I realized in that moment. Wow, I had so much to learn about the hair industry, about business, all these different things. I also had stuff to give and I had stuff to teach. And it was something that I remembered throughout my entire career, and something that the stylists and assistants who now work under me always say that they appreciate. That I don't even make it known who's the owner when you come in, because we're all equal. And there's something to learn from absolutely everybody. So I'm glad to hear I inspire you, because you have been inspiring me since I met you, since I saw you online. And I'm just so grateful to be here.
Thank you so much. So I think one of the things that I really wanted to have this kind of interview is your background. When you send me your bio, your background just sent chills in me, because then many a time when we go through rough times, tough times, and we don't know who we are, but it's challenging and everybody just rules us out, because then you're looked at it as not worthy, and here comes you with this bio, and girlfriend is killing it, and and she's in California. Tell me, what changed? What gave you this fuel to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to change and show up?
Well, there's a few things. One, I feel like the first thing that popped in my head as you were speaking about people counting us out, before I answer your question, people counting us out, is that it's so often people put us in a box, right? And it could be that we're at rock bottom, how I was when I was homeless, when I was addicted, I wouldn't mind gaining a few pounds, right? And I'm 170 now. So imagine me at 130. My addiction, my circumstances had me unhealthy physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I was completely down and out. And I'm sure that people that knew me at the time kind of wrote me off. I remember my grandfather left us all college funds. And when I decided to go back to school, I got sober. And so what happened was I got pregnant at 20 years old. Okay. And this is after years, actually going back a little further. So dealing with abandonment as a child and not knowing my worth, not knowing who I was, and struggling to find my place in the world. And more importantly, just to, as I said, to see my own worth. And so my first suicide attempt, I was 9. And then I still struggled with depression and low self-esteem. And by the time I turned 17, that was my real suicide attempt, which left me hospitalized and later put in a mental institution. And I had this situation, and I always tell this very brief story, but I just met a young woman in there who was absolutely beautiful. And I would try and engage. I was just drawn to her, and I would try and engage and speak to her. And in the middle of the conversations, she would just kind of fade off and staring at the wall, or just wasn't able to stay connected in the conversation. And what actually happened is that her suicide attempt left her with permanent brain damage. And in that moment, I realized that I would never again try to take my own life. And even though I was in the midst, in the full embodiment of being a victim, right? Yes, things happen. Yes, life was not ideal. yes, I was living in motels with my mom, and it was difficult, but I had so much to be grateful for. I was blessed in so many ways. And I realized in that moment that I would no longer try and take my own life, but choosing not to die didn't mean that I knew how to live. And so my next few years, literally homeless, addicted, sleeping on buses, sleeping in coffee shops, and then I get pregnant and I have a decision to make. And I think we often come to these crossroads in our life. And it may be pregnancy, it may be seeing somebody dying from the same thing that you've been partaking in. It may be a job opportunity or a school opportunity, but we're often find ourselves at these crossroads. And when I got here, I had to make a decision. Am I going to continue to keep barreling down the wrong path? Or am I going to choose to actively follow something new? And that's when I decided to enroll in cosmetology school. I got sober and I changed my life. And by the time I became a hairstylist within a few years, first year, I think I was making 80,000. First couple of years, I hit over 100,000 because I was willing to put in the hard work and I was determined not to continue to keep living the same life. But really briefly, I want to touch on what you said about people counting us out, which is where I was going at first, is that people so often put us in a box, right? So I'm sure people wrote me out then, but even like fast forward during COVID, right? I'm in a salon, I'm doing great. We own multiple homes, all these different things. I still have challenges, right? I still go through it like everybody else. But I was in this box as a hairstylist and I felt this calling deep in my heart. And I really wanted to write a book and I was terrified. And I had no idea if anybody would like it, if it would be any good, and if it would do well at all. And choosing to follow that passion and that desire led me down this incredible journey that I'm on now. So I say that to say, don't let anybody define you or put you in a box. It doesn't matter if you're a rock bottom or if you're doing what some people would consider to be great, but you know there's somewhere else you want to go. You have to follow your intuition.
Wow, thank you for that. What inspired the business in Manifesting Miracles LLC?
Really, it was that. So that came out after I wrote the book. Okay. And it just did so well. I showed up to this online summit and I thought I was coming to listen. And you know how summits go. You don't just put a speaker on. And she asked me to speak and I was not prepared. I spoke and I had a person reach out to me and he ended up asking me to be a part of, well, not asking me to be a part of, but he worked for different TEDx events. And he was like, you should start applying. And that was something, sometimes you need somebody to see more in you than you see in yourself. Yes. And so when that happened and that expanded my mind, like, oh my gosh, this is something I could actually do. It still took tons of work to get there, but it opened my mindset. I can actually do this. And I thought back over my life and thought about all the things that I had manifested, all the times I failed and continued to get back up. And what I'd seen in other people as well. And I developed a framework and a blueprint that I felt like could help other women do the same. And so that's what inspired me to create this new company. And essentially what we do is we have online courses and academies, everything from a free Art of Manifestation mini course to a paid 90-day book writing challenge, just different ways to help people, specifically women is the main kind of group that I help, helping them step into their dreams, into the next version of themselves.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we're talking about, Manifesting Miracles. Her website is actually manifestingmiracles.net. When you go on it, you can just go www.manifestingmiracles.net.
Let me chime in really quick. Sorry, it's best because my last name is so unique. Go to my website only because that will have everything encompassed there. So it's www.natasha.ickes.saman, SAMAN.com. And when you go on there, you'll have the free course and access to all the fun things I'm doing.
Awesome. And don't worry about it, because then if you're like me, like, what did you say with the website again? Don't worry, because with this show, we will have all her contacts and everything when we do post this show. So by the time that you see this here, look in the description. All you do is click on the website and you will be able, voila, to see everything that Natasha is bringing to you. Natasha, not only do I hope and wish that my sister and all the other hairdressers will see this, but I will make sure that I am saying to all of them, if this hairdresser got out and expanded herself. We want to hear your book too as a hairdresser. We want to hear your stories too as a hairdresser, because then as a mental health professional myself, I'm a mental health professional coach as well. But what I know for sure, the hairdressers and the salon owners are the number one people that people tell their stories and problems and everything, right? So what have you learned about that? How have you evolved with that? Because as they sit in your chair and tell you the story, it's like, ooh, what am I worried about? Look at her. Listen to her. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, so even when I was in school, like I said, I dropped out young and then went back and I got my AA after I was and became a hairstylist. But what I got it in was social science. What I loved was these connections with other people. And so actually that is my favorite part of being a hairstylist, being a salon owner, is connecting with other women, hearing people's stories. They encourage me, I encourage them. It's just such a supportive, uplifting space. I've had people come in and it's their first time. And they're literally like, at the end, they're like, well, I didn't expect that. Because, honey, we talking about life goals, dreams, how to
Yes.
manifest your dream life. Like, that's what we're about, is uplifting and encouraging one another in the salon.
Awesome. So let's play. Are you ready to play? Because I want to ask some questions that are just like, let's get Natasha. Because then I want that little Natasha to come out and say, let me tell you, this is who I was, but girl, this is who I am.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
What's your talent?
Oh, my talent is facilitating transformation.
Nice. Expand on that. Like Lisa would say, well,
Okay.
tell me more about that.
Yes, and that's so funny. And so you guys know, I didn't know any of these questions. So this is just what's popping in my head, first thing that came up. But really, it's so the external transformation. I'm really good at taking you from, well, I guess in both, taking you from where you are to where you want to be, whether it's a hairstyle or just really getting very clear and laser focusing on your goals and then getting you there quickly. Because that's my talent within myself too. It's just laser focusing on my goals and just attacking them.
Who did you learn those skills from? Anybody inspired
Yeah,
you?
I mean, oh, absolutely. For one, well, you can't even see a quarter of my bookshelf back here.
I can see. I can see it. We can see it. It's real.
Memoirs. I've been obsessed with memoirs. I'm reading Viola Davis right now. I've reread even though The Alchemist is not a memoir, but I've reread The Alchemist a million times. Other people's stories have always inspired me so much. And even though my home life wasn't ideal, I took the best parts of everybody that I saw and I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be like. And I always am very careful when I speak on religion. I'm a lot more spiritual than I am religious, but I'm not trying to impose my beliefs on anybody else. This is just what I call God, right? And I love when we went to a Lisa Nichols training, you
Yes.
guys, and she kept saying that, and I love it because I always say the same thing because I don't want to alienate anybody.
Yes.
But for me, my connection to God, when I was at rock bottom, when I was literally cold, homeless, tired, struggling, and I felt that inner strength within me, I knew for one that I never wanted to go back there. So I had to do something different, right? And for two, that anything was possible. And so that fire, that seed that was in me, thank God, has stayed and continued to grow and get stronger over the years.
Isn't that amazing that we are so afraid to be ourselves? We are so afraid to step out into the world and show up as the true versions of who we created to be, right?
Yes.
Which is a childlike state that just allows you to just do things and be happy. And when you're excited about it and happy about it, just do it, right? But then when we are brave enough to do it for as long as you and I have done it, we start the businesses, we start working with, women and men that we have inspired, transformed, and helped transform. It's like, why wasn't I doing this all along? Why was I afraid?
Yep. And that's what it is. And what I realize is that you guys, whether you succeed or whether you fail, you will be so glad. Like either way, it's not that bad. If you succeed, great. If you quote unquote fail, then you just learn and you're better for the next attempt. I remember the first tiny little YouTube video that I created. Where I was terrified, like to the point where I didn't post it until right before me and my family went on the beach because I'm like, I'm going to post this. I won't have reception for hours. I was like full out panic attack. And when I left, as I was leaving, I got a phone call from a lady who used to work in my salon. And she
Okay.
said that she had been literally on the verge of committing suicide, and that hearing my video had gave her encouragement, and she was crying when she was talking to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I still had people, only one, who later sent me a message. She was like, girl, what are you doing posting those videos? You must be bored. But it's okay. But that's okay. That's her truth. So I wasn't offended by it. It's not for you, and that's all right. But the people that it's for will be connected. And that was the most valuable lesson that I could get. It won't be for everybody, but if it's for one person, I did my job.
That's why I connected with you, because that has been my thing. And people are like, how do you get to be, so confident in doing this? And I said, you know what, years ago, I decided that if I can change one life, just one person at a time, and I can get one person that says, you know what, because of that book of yours that I read, because of that, speech that you gave, because I heard you say this here, I decided to do that. My heart is full. And that's that one flame that always drives me to do everything that I do, because I know there's one person that will see this and say, you know what, I'm going to do it too. And I always tell people, I'm from Zimbabwe, and so it's in Africa. I came here to the United States for school, and all I do now is something that I've had to learn. I wasn't born with this. I've had to learn each and everything. So I urge people to say, listen, if her, Dr. STEM, be less STEM, whatever you call me, can do it, I can do it too. I want you to dare yourself to say that, to say, if she can do it, I can do it too. And that's with Natasha too. Her story, her life, and I'm going to ask you in a little bit about her book. Her story, her life is saying to you, there are zero excuses. You have no excuse to not do what you were born to do and to live the life that you were born to live.
Ah, that was so powerful. You are creating a ripple effect. We all create a ripple effect. I read this quote somewhere years ago that, and I might butcher it, but something along the lines of, we don't get to choose if we affect people, only how we affect them. And so every single person that you touch then goes out to touch somebody else. So you inspire somebody who then inspires her coworkers, who then inspires her children, and you literally change the course of history and the way that you connect with everybody else. And that is what is so powerful about doing the work that you are called to do. And don't worry if other people support it in the beginning. Don't worry if other people see your vision right away. They will. And if you put your energy towards focusing on who doesn't support you, you're going to miss out on all the blessings of the people who do. Helen Keller, I'm trying to remember, I saw it yesterday. She said something about, now you guys know Helen Keller was blind, deaf. I mean, she had a lot of struggles. And she said, something along the lines of, I have been given so much, I don't have time to focus on the things I don't have. If she could say that, forget what I've gone through.
Right?
If she could say that, come on. We all can do something to better our lives and to touch other people as well.
Well said, well said. I always tell people also that our life is like a puzzle, piece of puzzle. So with a puzzle, you have pieces that you need. So in order for us to really say, at the day that we are laying there and people are saying goodbyes, and they can say, this one, she lived her life and she did the best that she could. We need all those pieces to match and to really bring out the best version of us. And in order for those pieces to match, you have to show up. I have to show up. The next person has to show up, because you are a piece that I need, and I am a piece that you need. And we need that other piece because we are all unique and individual. So it means that we can be doing the same work, and never judge yourself because I'm a speaker, she's a speaker, I'm a coach, she's a coach. We all are different. The way Natasha comes and the way that I come up, you need both of us, and you need the next one, and you need, because you get a little bit about each person, and then you become the best version of yourself. And please show up so that the next person can also be lit to go with. So you're right, ripple effect. I love that. Tell us about your book or books. I don't know.
Yes. Oh, so there's two, and I always focus. I'm like the other one is over there somewhere. But anyway, so I was a part of an anthology, which was super powerful. I mean, I enjoyed just flipping through and reading the other stories. It was called Choose Life, and the only reason why I don't promote it as much is because I don't think that it's on Amazon, and so it's just more difficult to find. But
Okay.
this is my memoir here, and it's called Overcoming: A Journey from Pain to Peace, Purpose, and Power. This, I put my heart and my soul into this book. It talks about the things that we spoke on and things that we did, and a lot about your intuition, how to touch into that, how it can change your life. And this isn't a how-to book. This is just me telling my story and then you pulling out whatever applies and throwing away whatever doesn't. And I'm just so amazed. I still get so many people reaching out to me about how much they've connected to it. It's on Amazon, barnesandnobles.com. There's links on my website. And I would just be so honored if you would pick up a copy and then leave a little note and let me know if you liked it and what touched you.
Oh, awesome. We'll have a link of that book there. The title just gives me chills again. I don't know. It's about Tuesday today. So I know in your bio you said you are a loving mom and you're a loving wife. Tell us about that part of your personal life.
Absolutely. So my husband and I have been together for 9 years. I know it has been a beautiful, beautiful journey, like anything else. And I'm very real. That's what my client told me the other day. She said, girl, you don't be selling us no dreams. Like, I'm upfront because I feel like you need to be honest and give people the real information. They can do what they want with it. Anything has its ups and downs. Everything takes work, but it is so incredibly worth it. And I love him so much. And we have 3 beautiful children. I have a stepdaughter who's 16, a 15-year-old daughter who I came into the marriage with, and then we have a 7-year-old son. Actually, he turned 7 yesterday, so we had fun.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is so.
And
What's his name?
He's a junior. He's a Esteban. And
no, your husband's name.
Oh, he's also a Esteban. So he's a Esteban senior, and our baby is a Esteban junior.
Junior. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I really try and encourage my kids to that's one thing that my parents did give me as well, is just the encouragement that you can do whatever you want and follow your passions. So the girls, they do competitive cheer, travel all over the country for competitions. My son is in basketball, soccer, and swimming. So I am very busy being a full-time soccer, basketball cheer mom.
Wow. In addition to owning a hair salon and, everything else. Oh, wow. How do you balance all that? If there's anything called balancing all that?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is sacrifice, right? I know I'm going to be busy, but I feel you're going to be busy either way. So be busy with things that you love to do. So I make sure that my life is filled with the things that I really enjoy. And my children, everybody knows they're just number one. So even for example, tomorrow, they just let us know that his game got changed. I text my clients that were in the morning, I'll come in for them on a Sunday. So I do my best. There's an order of things. My children are number one. My business is there as well. And I just do the best that I can do. And also, you guys, don't be afraid to hire people. I have other stylists and assistants in the salon. And what I said next year, because I'm with you, I'm a one-woman show right now for the new business. But next year, I have to hire at least one person to help me keep all this organized.
Yes. And that's always the next phase, that we don't hold on to the dream, and we don't, hold on to having it done, a certain way. And as I said, online, that next year I will not be, because I'm going to be traveling around the world with the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. So get into that. Oh, I don't know if I say that. Natasha will be one of the guest speakers on this year's 3rd annual Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. And your topic, again, we're not going to say, we just want the title, because I want people to just come and hear it for the first time.
You give the title. Go ahead, share it.
So her title is Why the Way We Have Been Thinking About Motivation is All Wrong. Do you know how much I blinked my eyes when I saw that? I'm like, what? So guess what? I'm just as excited as you all will be, wanting to hear, what do you mean we've been thinking about motivation in a wrong way. So I'm very excited to have Natasha, grace us with her presence. As you can see, the energy that she has, you can only imagine on the day of the conference, because then it will be about the masses that we'll be talking to every woman. And yes, man, we love our brothers that show up and
we do.
Yeah, we really do.
Soak it all in.
Yes. So you can only imagine, I am inviting you to join us on this 3rd annual Bounce Back Empowerment Conference 2022. I always say it's a great way to end the year with a bang and then enter the new year with a boom. So
I love that.
Yes, so you can get all the information on my website, www.drstemi.com. And again, we have the link. When we have this show's recording, you will have also the link to join Natasha on December 17th at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're so excited, Natasha.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I can't wait to see you all there, hear all the other phenomenal speakers. And you guys, I like to keep my stuff simple enough that anybody can get it, but profound enough that you can use it for a lifetime. So I believe that this talk can really give you some tools that can change your life and get you ready for 2023 to come in with a bang.
Awesome. Do you have a circle of friends that you hang out with?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
I have.
When do you have time? Because then your schedules are so full.
Oh, that's so funny. So yeah, that's why I paused. I was like, do I have a circle of friends? Yes. Do we hang out often? No, we don't. The important things, yes, we hang out. But you know what? I make sure that I'm surrounded by people I love. My family, my salon, like all the ladies in the salon. In fact, we're doing this big, we're going to get together for a little party at the end of the year. And our idea of a party is having tea, doing vision boards, and doing what we learned. What did we learn? Our little circle, our revenue wheel.
Yes.
Our revenue wheel that we did with Lisa Nichols. So I'm just excited. I try and make sure that the people that I work with, the people I do these conferences with, and the people that I travel with inspire, encourage, and uplift me every step of the way.
Awesome, awesome. Do you have a mission statement for your life?
Yeah. And when it's funny, because you would think I would have created that, but I can just say off the top of my head, it's not something I've necessarily written out, but it's something I touched on earlier. It really is to help people step into the next version of themselves. And then stepping outside of that, I feel like our legacy is not, are we famous? It's not, are we on TV? Those things, not being famous, but we aim to get on bigger stages. We aim to get in front of bigger audiences. But the reason is not for our own fame. The reason is because the more people we're in front of, the more lives that we can change. And so to me, your legacy is literally about the amount of lives that you can touch and change for the better. And that is my mission, to help people step into the next version of themselves.
That is so awesome, because it's interesting. When I started this show in 2013 and started doing the Dr. Stam show, it was an end podcast at that time. I just changed during the pandemic and also added end podcast at that time. My goal was to do exactly that, to touch as many lives, as we can through stories, through storytelling, because I know if you show up and you tell your story, it's going to encourage someone else who's been wondering, can I really get out of this, season of life that I'm in right now, and how can I get out? And many a time I find that when people watch the shows, everyone was able to take out something in there that helped them to get back up and, be the best version of themselves, as you said. So yes, thank you for that mission statement. That is powerful and poignant.
Yes, thank you.
The next version of my questioning comes in where we all have fears. Even when we show up like this year, people are like, oh my God, you guys are so confident and you've been doing this year. But then we all have fears. Do you have fears that you have overcome and some that you're still working on, coping with?
Absolutely. I know one of my biggest fears was because I had let myself down so many times, right? I had fallen into addiction and trying to get out of it, dropping out of school, going into college early, but I mean, because I went in young, because I dropped out of high school. It wasn't an intelligence thing, it was just life circumstances. But I had so much going on. I kept dropping out and I kept failing myself. And really, that was my fear. My fear is, can I do this? Am I going to let myself down? Do I have the tools? Does anybody want to hear what I have to say? Will I be effective? Right? So a lot of self-doubt and things that I was going through. And what I learned is that fear is okay. Fear means that you care. And honestly, fear means that you're on the right path. If your dreams don't scare you, we've all heard this one. If dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough, right? Yes. If you think about what you want to do and you feel comfortable, honey, you need to think again. Yes. So for me, I've just gotten comfortable with being like, I'm scared because I care, but I'm willing to show up anyway. That's the thing, is just being willing to show up despite yes. what's going on at home, despite what's going on internally, despite whatever's going on in your head, still being willing to show up and do the work and transcend all of that. So wow. I have it every time. Every time I get on the stage, I'm terrified. And I just get up and I do it anyway.
And then when we do it, after we get off the stage, it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Okay, you know what? I would love to continue talking to you because there's so much that we can talk about. But talking about, just a follow-up question about fear. Are there things now that you know for sure that you don't have to worry about, you worry less about them now?
Yes. And my main, actually that takes me to a different one. I used to have a fear of what other people thought about me. And that is one that I don't worry about as much anymore. Hardly at all. I mean, yes, when I get on stage, or yes, if I'm showing up in whatever case, we are going to care what other people think to a certain extent. You can say you don't care at all, but yeah, you do. You're human. Yeah. But I've learned, again, how to just completely let that go and really trust in myself. Yeah. So when I know who I am, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about me. It doesn't matter other people's viewpoints. I trust in myself and I know that I'm doing the best I can at the time. And that's enough.
That is beautiful. What one word would describe Natasha?
I don't know if this word necessarily describes me, but if I could have one word that's connected to me, I would say faith.
Ooh.
Faith is my word. It's what keeps me going. Faith in God, faith in myself. That's what keeps me going.
That is beautiful, beautiful. And to end this show, I wanted to ask also, what is that one wish that you want in this life for people to remember you for or by?
I would like them to remember, and maybe remember this by seeing my story or hearing my story, that they can do absolutely anything that they set their mind to. And it sounds very simple, but it's profound because so many things come up to make us feel different about ourselves, to doubt ourselves, to want to give up. We go through a lot in this life. And if they could just remember that as long as you keep going, it will get better. Because I know what it's like, I said, to not even want to live, to try and take my own life. And back then, I wish I would have realized if you just keep going, it'll get better. And that's what I'd like people to remember. Just keep going.
Just keep going. And for those, people that are watching this, or will watch this, years after we've done this, why should they work with Natasha?
Because I have that balance of just realism. Like, I'm going to keep it real with you. I am not, I've been through a lot, so I can relate on so many different levels, right? Yeah. But also I'm going to see the beauty in you because I know what it's like to have something in you. For one, I know what it's like to not see that spark inside of yourself. And so I know how to identify that and help you bring it out. But I also know that uncomfortable space of knowing there's something brewing, knowing there's something inside of you that wants to get out, but not quite sure what it is or how to get there. And I can help you close the gap and jump from point A to point B in record time.
Ooh, you heard it from Natasha. Ladies and gentlemen, I could talk to her for hours and hours, but we don't have that much time. She's got kids and she's a wife and she's a boss lady, so we gotta let her go. But what I want to do is invite all of you to join Natasha on stage. She's going to be virtual, coming to you from anywhere in the world. You can watch and listen to what she has to say on the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference 2022. We can't wait. It's going to be on December 17th, and we are starting early at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So to learn more about it and join us, don't forget, go back to www.drstemi. I always leave the other W, right? It's www.drstemi.com. And as I said, I will be putting all her information right underneath this show that we did with her. Any last parting words that you might have for us and our audience, Natasha?
Just thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for the time to listen and come in and join us. Not just me, like I keep saying, the other speakers are phenomenal. You will be poured into, motivated, inspired, uplifted. It is going to be a life-changing conference and event. And thank Dr. Stemi, because she has created something fabulous for all of us.
Thank you. And I always like to end with a quote. And today I am going to end with a quote that came from our guest herself, Natasha. She said, sometimes you need someone to see more in you than you see in yourself. Thank you for joining the Dr. Stem Show. And thank you to all of you that will be watching this show. Until next time, this is Dr. Stem. Be encouraged.
Thank you.